This edition of the FIFA World Cup Magazine includes the goals from some exhilarating qualifying matches. While the trophy they're all hoping to win has gone on tour, we caught up with it in Saransk. And we meet the boy from Brazil who's proud to represent Russia. Seven nations were already assured of joining the host Russia at the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and October revealed a further 15 countries who will definitely participate. We start with the final round of matches in CONCACAF's hexagonal, where the USA needed just a point in Trinidad to qualify. But in the 17th minute, their defender Omar Gonzalez watched helplessly as his attempted clearance drifted over Tim Howard's head. Alvin Jones doubled Trinidad and Tobago's lead with a spectacular drive before half-time. Despite a late flurry, the USA were left hoping for favourable results elsewhere. Their fate was sealed in Central America, where already qualified Costa Rica crossed the border to take on Panama. Although the Ticos took the lead, Panama hit back twice in the second half. First through Gabriel Torres' disputed goal. And then 2 minutes from time, Roman Torres gave Los Caballeros a famous victory. Panama had booked their maiden appearance at the finals, and wild celebrations prompted the president to call a national holiday the following morning. The USA won't be part of the FIFA World Cup finals for the first time in 32 years, and their coach Bruce Arena has left his post. Honduras scored a surprise victory over group winners Mexico and will go to an intercontinental playoff. There they will face Australia, who progressed by the narrowest of margins against Syria in Sydney. Having drawn 1-1 in the first leg, Syria took an early lead through Mahmoud Al-Mawaz, and their unlikely World Cup dream looked feasible. However, before a quarter of an hour, Tim Cahill had equalised after good work by Matthew Leckie. Eventually, the match went to extra time when the evergreen Cahill struck again with a last-gasp header. Syria almost forced penalties when Al-Samar's free kick hit the post in the 121st minute, but their brave campaign ended in disappointment. There was also a dramatic climax to the qualification in South America, where Argentina's campaign eventually ended in success. Defeat in Ecuador would have potentially eliminated the two-times champions, and when Romario Ibarra scored for Ecuador in the first minute, Argentina's chances looked in peril. However, it was their talisman Lionel Messi who left the crowd breathless in the thin air of Quito. In the 11th minute, he poked in a pass from Angel Di Maria. And he added a second before the break after a mistake by Dario Aymar in the Ecuador defence. In the second half, Messi completed his hat-trick with a typical piece of individual brilliance. It was his 21st goal in 45 CONMEBOL qualifiers, and Argentina were Russia-bound. As expected, Uruguay confirmed their place, but Chile miss out. And Colombia advanced after a 1-1 draw with Peru, who will play New Zealand in the other intercontinental playoff. In Europe, England, France, Spain, Poland and Serbia all topped their groups. And Germany completed a perfect qualifying campaign with a 5-1 defeat of Azerbaijan. The world champions finished with maximum points, and they had 21 different goal scorers in their qualifying matches. Iceland became the smallest nation to progress to a World Cup after beating Kosovo to win their group. Gylfi Sigurdsson opened the scoring just before half-time with a fine finish. before turning provider for Johan Gudmundsson, who settled any nerves and gave Iceland their 7th win in Group I. Iceland are the only country to qualify for a World Cup with a population of fewer than 1 million. And finally, in Group B, the European champions Portugal confirmed their place with victory in Lisbon over Switzerland. Johan Giroud scored an own goal shortly before the break. And Andre Silva completed the victory in the 57th minute as Portugal pulled level on points with Switzerland but won the group on goal difference. Despite winning 9 out of 10 qualifying matches, Switzerland would be one of the names in the European playoff draw. And FIFA headquarters in Zurich was the location for that draw. On October the 17th, the Swiss coach Vladimir Petkovic was among representatives from the 8 nations who finished runners-up in the group stage. Those teams were Croatia, who've qualified 4 times via a playoff, Denmark, who've been particularly strong at home, Greece, second in Group H behind Belgium, the Republic of Ireland, who got through at the last gasp, 4-time champions Italy, Northern Ireland, who take part in their first FIFA World Cup playoff, Sweden, the top scorers among the playoff contenders, and Switzerland, aiming to reach their 11th FIFA World Cup. 4 of the teams were seeded according to current FIFA rankings, and former Spanish international Fernando Hierro was on hand to draw the names from the pots.
First ball, home team of the first match.
North Ireland. Switzerland.
Switzerland.
We knew whatever team we got was going to be a very difficult game, but you know, Switzerland have had a great qualifying campaign, 9 victories, 1 defeat.
They're a tough opponent, very physical and compact. They didn't concede a goal in 7 of their 10 qualifying games, so it's going to be very difficult for us.
We know we'll have to be at our best to qualify, but we believe we're capable of doing that.
First ball.
Croatia.
Return match is going to be against
Greece.
Now we are looking forward to face Croatia. A very tough team, a very good team. Even in playing offensive football, they are doing quite good. But most of the time we are good in defending, so we will see what's going on the pitch.
Denmark. Republic of Ireland.
Being one of the unseeded teams, it was going to be a difficult tie for us. I think that obviously delighted to be in it. I know Denmark and I know the manager. He and I used to play together, Augie Haredi, and so it'll be interesting confrontation.
This match is going to be played in Sweden.
Italy.
Italian football is good, and I've been to the World Championship before and have a good experience, so it's a good team, but we will go for it.
So here's confirmation. Northern Ireland will play Switzerland, while Croatia take on Greece. Denmark meet the Republic of Ireland, while the Italians will host Sweden in the second leg. The ties conclude on the 14th of November, but which 4 teams will be reunited with Zabivaka at the main draw on December the 1st in Moscow?
This camera, no?
Recent call-ups to the Russian national squad include a name that stands out, Guilherme Alvin Marinato.
Hola.
In 2016, he made history by becoming one of the few players to represent Russia who was born outside the former Soviet Union. Known simply as Guilherme, he began his journey to Savonia from humble surroundings.
My early life in Brazil was very simple. I was born in a small town in the state of Minas Gerais, 250 kilometers from Rio de Janeiro. That's where I first started playing football. That's where my story began. In 2003, I joined Atletico Paranaense. I played 4 years in the youth team, then the first team for a year afterwards. My dream had always been to play in Europe. I must admit, I never thought of Russia, but after Lokomotiv offered me a contract, that was it.
In 2007, Guilherme became the first Brazilian goalkeeper to play in Russian football when he signed for Lokomotiv Moscow. Frustrated by injury for his first 2 years, he finally made his debut in 2009 and has held the #1 jersey for the Railwaymen ever since.
Russia was such a change for me. It was so different. The weather, the language. The team and management were really patient with me and gave me a new chance. Spending the first 2 years injured was difficult, but then I learned Russian and began to enjoy it.
Success followed with Lokomotiv, winning 2 Russian Cups. Then came citizenship and a call-up to the national team. A part of Russia's squad at the 2017 FIFA Confederations Cup, his aim now is to be in contention for the country's first ever home World Cup next year.
I must admit, even when I'm on holiday in Brazil, after a month I miss Russia. It truly is my home. Representing the Russian national team is the most important thing that has ever happened to me, the greatest thing in my career. All of the players welcomed me to the team and constantly supported me. Although we are going through a transformation right now, with many new players coming in, I think we are ready to be tested further in preparation for the World Cup.
Officially, the history of the football club began in 1909, but really everything took place much earlier. In the 1890s, here at Morozov's factories, there were English workers. One of those Englishmen was Gigi Charnock, and one of his sons was a player for Blackburn Rovers. That's why the club's colours are white and blue. The first kit was the same as Blackburn Rovers. Each employee is part of the club's heritage, from the security guards and cleaners to the general director. We're all working for the club's welfare in order for it to continue its existence. For me, it's an honor to work here.
FC Znamya Truda are Russia's oldest club. Hailing from Orikovo-Zhuyevo, an industrial town approximately 85 kilometers east of Moscow, the team's name translates as Banner of Labour. The club won the first 4 Moscow League titles and appeared in the 1962 USSR Cup final. However, today Znamya are struggling financially and facilities are minimal. The club's long history has also been stained by tragedy. In May 2004, a number of players and club personnel were killed in a road accident on their way back from an away game.
The accident really shook the city. People here were devastated, and the news was broadcast on national television. Many people came here from other football clubs to pay their respects and say goodbye. Even today, teams who come here visit the church, which was built in memory of those who perished. They visit the memorial to those who died in that awful crash.
Certainly it left a mark. When the tragedy happened, there were rumours that the club was to be closed down. It was a huge blow for everyone, but the club survived and continues to exist.
Through good times and bad, professional and amateur status, the club has lived on. It currently competes in the central region of the second division, the third tier of Russian football. And this season has been one of change, with former Arsenal Tula coach Vasily Rozhnov taking charge.
Currently, we're at the bottom of the league table. But my task is primarily to unite the side. I want to build a team on trust and on understanding, so that we're like one family. I want everyone who goes onto the pitch playing for each other.
I think that the atmosphere in the dressing room has improved. With the arrival of a new coach, emotions are always elevated. So for now, we all feel positive, and I hope that will continue. Our goal this season is to be among the top 10 clubs, and I think that's still realistic.
Whether Znamya Truda manage this target in the short term remains to be seen. If they're to survive another century, it will be down to the dedication of those who work with and who follow the club.
This is all one organism. Success is a combination of small things, and we need to understand that we all play our part. No matter who comes to the stadium, you come to support your team. The fans are together with the team, they're part of the team. We are all one family.
36 centimetres of solid gold, supported by a base containing malachite, the FIFA World Cup trophy is instantly recognisable. Lifted by the winners of every FIFA World Cup since 1974, it is currently giving Russians the chance to admire its beautiful and iconic design. First staged ahead of the 2006 edition, the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour by Coca-Cola is now an established part of the build-up to the greatest football tournament on earth. Having already visited 7 cities and travelled over 2,500 miles since the official start, the trophy reached Saransk this month.
We start in Russia before going to the world, 54 countries, and come back to Russia for the last leg of the tour leading up to June 2018. And today, as we had the second day of the FIFA Trophy Tour in Saransk, we opened a play park, inclusive play park, in order to leave behind something for the people. And this inclusive play park with a football pitch will stay after the FIFA World Cup. And that was really important to leave something for the people.
The Cup's epic journey across Russia will be followed by a trip overseas. Over 1 million people saw it prior to the 2014 FIFA World Cup, and the population of 15 Russian cities will be able to fall under its spell on this leg of its expedition.
Personally, I'm just like any other boy or man. It takes your breath away when you come up close and have a look at the FIFA World Cup. We've seen it on TV, and more often than not, it is in the hands of the players of the team that has won the World Cup.
In all, the trophy will cover 26,000 kilometres of Russian territory, and after its overseas excursion, will return for the final countdown to June 2018. Before it moved on to Yaroslavl and beyond, it had reminded the residents of Saransk of what awaits next year.
We always hoped that we would be able to cast our eyes on the trophy. Now we have seen it here today. It has made it click in our heads that the World Cup is coming soon, and we realise that we must try hard so that everything is ready on time and that we are prepared. Psychologically, this is an important event for us, the organisers.
With over 2/3 of the teams now known and the venues in which they will play all nearing completion, the countdown is well and truly on for the greatest football tournament on earth. FIFA's Secretary-General Fatma Samura has been at the forefront of monitoring the preparations in Russia.
I think that things are moving as per planned. The joint FIFA LOC team has just completed the 6th inspection visit in the 8 host cities that did not host the Confederation Cup. We have some challenges for Samara Arena, where really work was delayed. Now with a new governor in place and the commitment made by the LOC and the Russian authorities, we think that additional workers will be put on the spot and that the work in the next 3 months will be very significant. Now one of the critical milestones will be the test match, and the majority of them will be starting between March and May, and from there we will be able to say whether everything is running fine and it's perfect. For FIFA perspective, the Confederation Cup, I think was a fantastic game. We did not receive any major complaint from the fans or the teams or the players. 60,000 volunteers from 78 countries welcome the fans with great enthusiasm. Security-wise, I think all the guarantee was given to the fans that everything will run smoothly. The introduction of the fan ID was also something that we were fearing would be problematic, but at the end of the day, it resulted to be a very useful tool for security screening. I think one of the major lessons is that we learned was that the Russians are very warm people. They have a lot to share in terms of history, but also in terms of organization. I think the level of commitment we have seen in Russia from the government side is something that we cannot compare with any other countries. Now we are getting ready for the big competition, the World Cup, but the FCC went very well. In terms of requests, we have already 3.5 million requests, which is a good figure. We think that after the draw in December, there will be more even requests on ticket sales, and we hope that there will be also a full stadium for the games. It's the most watched competition in the world. In 2014, 3.2 billion people, meaning half of the world population, watched the World Cup. So to me, it's every 4 years, and we should do it more often.